Chunky but funky.
Live from Studio A, the 6:30 Show with Dave Gray.
Chunky but funky.
For whatever reason, our players did not respond to this program. We will begin our search for a new coach at once.
This is a business about getting things done. And when those things don't happen, these are the circumstances that follows.
It's about winning and it's about losing. And don't anybody ever forget that.
We need to win football games. We didn't win important football games. That's why I came down to this.
Okay, have you had enough sports? I think not, my friends. Settle back in your big recliner, grab a beer or perhaps a non-alcoholic beverage, and sit down and join the Ayatollah of rock and rolla as we talk about roads less or maybe no longer traveled to post-Heisman hype, to the last freaking football game that you will watch in the college football season. And yes, it is the new year, a new decade, a new millennium. And joining me tonight, two sports talkers, from WTLX FM Talk, my sports cohorts, Craig and Steve, or Steve and Craig, as it's legally said in the contract. Steve, Craig, you there? I can't hear a thing. Steve, Craig.
Hello.
You guys there?
Yes. What do you want?
Hi, how are you? I want to do a TV show.
Oh,
we're on the air already.
Am I, can you see my nice outfit?
You look very nice.
Yeah, I know. I was getting dressed for TV tonight, so I tried to put on my best stuff.
Man, that is nice. Steven, let me ask you a question. How are things going at the studio?
Things are great.
I'll be there tomorrow. Okay, now, enough little studio chit-chat. We have no solutions yet as to who will be the next coach of the Green Bay Packers.
You know, we've been trying to tackle that same question, and there have been about 40 different people discussed.
Okay, I assume Steve Mariucci, has anybody brought up Bill Parcells' name again?
Of course.
I'm a little tired of hearing Bill Parcells' name.
Bill Parcells and Barry Alvarez, you can scratch off the list.
Yeah, Barry Alvarez is not going to go there, all right? It's not happening, so it's a dream that you should dream. Maybe if you live in Nebraska, he might come there.
I mean, Bill Parcells in '92 couldn't coexist with Ron Wolf. Remember, he was his first choice before Mike Holmgren, and think about what he's accomplished since then. Led the Patriots to the Super Bowl, led the Jets to the, AFC Championship game, and there's no way that they could coexist now. It could only happen if there was no Ron Wolf, and that, unfortunately, if you want Bill Parcells, will not be the case.
Yes, my long-winded friend, I agree with you, but what I have to ask you, who do you personally think is the lead candidate?
I think Steve Mariucci is. Steve Mariucci has something in his contract that will allow him, if he gets a promotion, to leave the 49ers, although they will have to give up some draft pick compensation, but I think the Packers would do it.
But wouldn't you want to stay with that fine 49er team?
You know, there's a chance, though. You have to remember that the 49ers are going to dump about 200 players. They're $50 million. They're $30 million over the salary cap. The Packers could be able to scrape up some veterans who can maybe create a little fire that this group of veterans couldn't do. And I'll tell you one name right now, Jerry Rice.
There you go. That would be outstanding. Now, Steve, we know your opinion of the whole Ray Rhodes fire. We know my opinion too soon. But now we will go to Brian. Brian, how are you?
Hello?
Brian?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Brian, I'm lovely. I'm attractive. Your wife loves me. Now I have to ask you, Ray Rhodes was fired. Was it too soon?
Definitely. I mean, I hate to say it, I'm really not a Packer fan. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. Just recently moved here.
That's okay. You guys
However,
didn't suck till this year.
Ray Rhodes, excellent coach for the Niners as a defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, he went to Philadelphia after that and had bad people working there on top of him. But I don't know. I think that Wolf just got too eager too quick. After having Holmgren here for, as long as he did, he just wanted another championship right away, and that was wrong.
Thanks for the call, Brian. We appreciate it. Now, let me ask you then, the callers at home while you're thinking, and you too, Stephen, is Craig in the room yet?
We're trying to get this whole thing figured out. Craig is like, I don't know, he may be in the bathroom with himself.
That's fine. That's something he does 5-6 times a day before lunch. Let me ask you this. Do you think that there's a possibility that Steve Mariucci is going to get out of the contract and be here? And tell people your opinion of the Ray Rhodes situation.
All right, well, Steve Mariucci, this is the only way it'll happen. If Bill Walsh stays, you gotta be smart to follow this. In fact, you may want to pick up a pen and write some of this down because it's connect the dots.
All righty.
Okay. If Bill Walsh
Bill Walsh.
stays as general manager and director of football operations with San Fran.
GM San Fran, okay.
Then Steve Mariucci may opt to quit. Now, he could quit, and he would forego his contract, which was a 4-year contract extension for about $2 million a year, which he signed after last season. He would be walking away for that, but he would know that he's walking into another job.
Have you noticed, by the way, that Mariucci, Schottenheimer, these all sound like the maneuvers. They all sound like Heimlich.
Yeah.
It's the Schottenheimer maneuver. It's the Mariucci maneuver. We have got to take what in television is known as a commercial break, and we will do that for our bloodthirsty sponsors. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Your calls are here, and we will take each and every one of them. Who will be the new Green Bay Packers coach? What about the Rose Bowl? All next on the 6:30 show with me, Dave Gray.
Bottom line is we as players have to examine ourselves and what we've done and how we can become better. I don't want someone to have to push me to play. If that's the case, I need to get out of football. And it's no different in any workforce. Sometimes you don't feel like getting up and going to work, but you got to do it. We get paid a lot of money to do it. And to make an excuse where it wasn't hard enough on us is a lame excuse.
Yes, of course. Eric, I'll teach you how to do sports better next time. Frankie, just leave me alone. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We get calls, we got to take them. We are back on the 6:30 show with me, your buddy, your pal, Cuddly, Dave Gray. And, of course, Stephen Craig back at the studio, TLX. You guys there?
I am. We want to try to hook you up through the radio also.
Are we actually being broadcast right now on 100.5 WTLX FM Talk?
No. Actually, Craig right now is on with Jay from DeForest. And it's been announced that I've forgone my radio career for a career in television.
Which is a good move, man, because you're a good-looking man.
Thank you.
Can I say that? Are we secure with our own sexuality?
Yes, I feel great about that.
All right.
My grandmother always tells me I look like Tom Cruise, so I feel much.
And your grandmother has a very nice rack. Let's take Nancy on line 2. Nancy, hi. Calling from Middleton?
Yes, I am. Well, first I have a comment.
Go ahead.
And, I mean, as far as San Francisco, Mariucci in the Millennium would be too hard to say after a bunch of beers.
I think so. I think you have 2 beers in Mariucci Millennium. Don't worry about anything that's moving over here, by the way. There's some trouble.
I'm not even watching.
Young toughs. Oh, there's no need to watch.
But I do have a question. On Ray Rhodes' contract for $4 million, how much of that is he going to see?
Good question. I think we had to pay the whole thing off, didn't we, Stan?
No, actually, they negotiate a settlement where Ray Rhodes will probably see about another $1.5 million out of that. The Packers will also have to eat a bunch of the coaches, the assistant coaches who are still under contract. All told, it's going to be about a total of $4 million for all the coaches, which I think is a fiscally irresponsible move by Ron Wolf.
You got to keep in mind, this is not money being spent even on somebody like Leroy Butler who doesn't do his job quite right. This is money being spent on somebody who's not doing his job whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But the whole coaching staff, with their whole families and everything, just poof. I guess I can see some money, but Ray Rhodes, it's like, shouldn't he have to give some money back?
You know what? If you want to find Ray Rhodes and tell him that, I think Ray Rhodes should have to give all his money back, to be honest with you, Nancy.
Me too.
Thank you very much. Maybe we'll interview the head coach of the Packers tomorrow. Take care. By the way, I want to reveal this again. Tomorrow, between 5 and 7 on WTLX, we will have exclusive interviews that Ron Wolf is currently conducting to find the new head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Steve, unbelievable you even were able to find that.
Yeah, we're real excited about it, and actually it's all going to happen from Vonnie Holliday's house. We're going to be broadcasting from his kitchen tomorrow, number 90, and we'll find out if the oven is clean. We get very deep into these Packers.
Do not think that I am not bitter that I don't get to go with you. I have to do stand-up here in town. I'd be there so fast. You know Vonnie Holliday and I have the same diet.
Yep. Yeah, there's just not enough room for all of us, he said.
There's not enough room for me and Vonnie. Erwin on line 5, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, and you have a tip for us. Who should coach the Pack?
I think that it should be Steve Mariucci, and I also think it would be really interesting to see him have sex with a horse.
Okay, well that's good. That's a good comment. He thinks it should be Steve Mariucci, and he'd like to see Mariucci in some horse porn.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be odd. I don't understand the reference there really, because I think the baby would look a little bit like Rebecca Lobo. Maybe that's just me. I think any horse baby looks like Rebecca Lobo, though. We got Doug. Doug, how are you?
Hello.
Calling from Sun Prairie, and I believe there's a revelation to be spread. Doug, go ahead.
Well, I think what the deal is here is no one seems to forget that or remember that before Holmgren came to Green Bay, the Packers were pretty bad. And the other thing is, none of the players in the NFL even wanted to come to Green Bay. You had people holding out, people not wanting to be traded, people refusing to play there. Holmgren brought that back. Ray Rhodes went to Philadelphia. They were a playoff team the first year. Next year, they didn't get close. Next year, they won 3 games. Next year, they won 1 game. Who'd they beat? The Packers. What happens then? Reggie White. All them people start leaving Philadelphia. They didn't want anything to do with that philosophy anymore. And I think if Ron Wolf would have allowed Ray to continue his slide down like he did with the Eagles, we would have had that same situation in Green Bay coming back where no one wants to play.
I cut him off, Steve, because he was rambling nonsense.
I can't believe how many stupid. If the fact that guy can work a remote is amazing. The factual inaccuracies in what that gentleman
he had no
to
idea
say.
what he was saying.
First of all, Ray Rhodes was the NFL Coach of the Year his first year in the league. The second year, also a 10-6 record and went to the playoffs. His third year, they were sub 500. His fourth year, they did win 3 games and they were slipping. And it was pretty inevitable that the coach was going. And
the guy can coach. Bottom line, the guy can coach. We got to go to break again, Steve. I'm sorry. We will be back with more. Who should be the head coach of the Packers? It appears that most of us know, except for Steve from Sun Prairie, who I think maybe got into some kind of accident with a little liquor, maybe some bourbon, who knows. He and John Madden on a bus. We'll be back. Mr. Rhodes, we have no openings here at TVW. No, goodbye. I hate having to do that. I'm sorry. Steve, Ray Rhodes was on the phone. I hate having to do that. We've got Terry on the phone. Terry, are you there? Maybe I should press this button.
David.
Terry.
Hey, Dave.
Who do we have on line 5?
Hey.
Oh, my goodness. You will never guess who's on the phone with us right now, Steve.
Who?
Is this Cowboy?
Dave, man, you are one fine specimen.
You're a little surprised, aren't you, Cowboy?
No, I've seen you before. Hey, right when I saw you, I thought about, man, it's time to make dinner. But anyway.
We also have Craig here with us.
Craig is back now. We got Steve and Craig. How are you, man?
Very good.
Cowboy is here. It's like a big reunion.
Cowboy has now completed. He has now called every radio and television show in the country. This was the final show he needed to complete.
It's beautiful.
Hey, but Dave, what do you think, though? I think Reggie White came up years ago and he said, "Hey guys, come on, let's go to Green Bay." So I think Reggie ought to come back and say, "Hey guys, let's go."
Well, it'd be nice if Reggie was here now to get Barry Sanders to come here from Miami. That would be nice.
Well, I just look at this Ray Rhodes deal, and I think he got a raw deal. I think anything he done, he would have got fired. And what's on the TV? Oh, gee. But
Can you dump this guy? He's adding nothing to your show.
Okay, good point.
He can ruin our radio show, Dave.
Well, I thought I was doing you guys a favor by putting him on the air. He wasn't on because of me. Believe me, he's not the guy I'd select.
You know what? He did hit on one thing that I wanted to just touch on from the caller before the break. He talked about Mike Holmgren and Reggie White. Don't forget who brought Reggie White here. It wasn't Mike Holmgren. It was Ray Rhodes.
Yeah, and that's 100% correct. You know, the guy from Sun Prairie whose name I have now completely blocked out. I think it was Chris. He made so many, like you said, factual inaccuracies. You said that very beautifully, Steve, about Ray Rhodes' coaching career. Ray Rhodes was not necessarily a bad coach, but at the same time, being a Packer fan for the many years I have, I've seen the coaches come and go, my friend. The Dan Devines, the Bart Starrs. I know the mistakes that have been made. All right.
Will Craig stop putting makeup on his nose? We're not on TV.
Craig, you guys are just actually on just by the phone. You understand that, don't you, Craig?
I'm sorry. I wasn't around the first segment when you explained that.
It's all right. I'm sorry about that. We got Terry on line 3. Terry, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
And fine-looking man, Terry.
Yeah, thanks.
Terry, who should the new Packers coach be? Can I ask you that, my friend?
Yeah, I think I hate John Gruden, but I think if he was with the Packers, I'd like him. He's a tough guy. I think he'd have good discipline for the whole team.
You know, I've heard this come up a lot, actually. John Gruden, your guys' opinion. Steve, Craig, WTLX, go.
I think John Gruden's good. I think he's younger than Bill Cowher, but he's already perfected that ugly face that Bill Cowher has. And we were around him a lot in Philadelphia when he was Ray Rhodes' offensive coordinator. Yeah. And I like Gruden. He's a down-to-earth guy. I think he got a lot out of the Raiders even after they were eliminated from the playoff races.
Wisconsin in general is going to want a down-to-earth guy and a hard-nosed guy, from what I can tell. Go ahead, Craig.
I think the team needs discipline right now.
Yeah, I also don't know exactly what kind of language passes on your air, but I know Steve and I once interviewed John Gruden about just asking to describe himself, and he said he was a slap, bleep sort of guy. Now, I don't know, can
Is that good or bad?
He's just down to earth. He's not guarded. He's going to let you know what he thinks, and I think people in Wisconsin would love that.
Now, is it slap ass? Is that what you're going to say?
No, it's actually slap dick.
Oh, that was bad. That was a really bad idea, Steve.
That was Craig.
Steve.
You guys got a delay there.
We have no delay whatsoever. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back with more profanity and nudity after these commercials from the people who used to sponsor the show. Right after this. Back here on the 6:30 show with me, Dave Gray.
Have the talent that he had here at Green Bay, and maybe he just thought all he had to do was walk in, not irritate anybody, and just let them play, and they would win.
And I wonder if
guys?
those comments that Ron Wolf made on
Guys?
day one about
Hey.
keeping the wheel
Guys?
going and things like that.
Guys? All right, fine. I'm going to cut off WTLX, my new job. Guys.
You know, and Ray Rhodes made him too. I mean,
All right,
they both-
forget it. We're cutting them off. Guys?
Yeah, we're back.
All right, cut off your caller and come back to the TV show where we have actual people paying attention.
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. We got 3 minutes and we have like 15 callers we have to go through, okay?
That's like more than we've had in the last 2 years that we've been on the air.
And that's not anything to be ashamed of. We got Brian. Brian, go.
Yeah, I called earlier from the Bay Area. Anyways, about the Mariucci situation, people...
And I cut you off, Brian?
Huh?
Did I cut you off?
No, I'm all right.
Earlier. Did I
today?
cut you off? I am so sorry. Did I cut you off earlier?
Yeah, a little, but...
Oh, let me cut you off again. All right, let's go to John on line 4. John.
Yeah, guys, I just think Ray Rhodes should be known as a poet. You know, he will never have a problem finding a job for his famous quote in Philadelphia. Losing this game is like somebody breaking into your house and shooting your kids. I think Barry Alvarez ought to say that to the Badgers sometime. One of the great famous quotes.
You have to understand when you say that he was a poet. It's odd to me you'd say that because Bill, who was it? Who was it who read the poem? Who?
Bill Parcells.
Read the poet. This guy's a poem. A poet. I'm confusing the two words. You got me all upset since you swore at me.
Ray Rhodes had some of the greatest quotes ever by a pro football coach.
But the game is not about quotes, all right?
No, it's about shooting your kids, right?
At the end of the year, was he like 16-0 in quotes?
Shoot this guy.
Is he a fantasy quote guy? I will get rid of him. Remember, it's my show. We got 2 minutes, and we got like 9 lines full. You guys have never had that. Line 5, Steve, go. Steve, you're in Marshall.
I'm calling in regards of Ray Rhodes, and they said something about...
Steve?
Yes.
Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, go ahead.
They're calling in regards of it may be being racial that they got rid of Ray Rhodes.
Which is just bogus.
I think it's crap
completely.
also.
It is crap. Okay, go ahead and say it. I think so, too.
I think Ray Rhodes did an okay job going to a team that he really didn't know, and like personality-wise and so on and so forth. Getting rid of him for the first year, maybe after the third year, they could have got rid of him.
You know what? We got a guy on line 3 who agrees with everybody here. Hold on. Line 3, and who do we have here? I believe it's Lawrence.
Hi.
Lawrence, say your opinion and tell people because we will be glad. You will get an applause and a screaming salute. Go ahead.
I think that Ray Rhodes should be fired, or, I'm glad that he was fired. And I think that you would look a whole lot better.
Okay, I cut you off, buddy. Sorry. It actually said on the teleprompter, give Rhodes a chance. Well, you guys, thank you for being on the show tonight. I'm sorry. I wish we had more time to take these calls.
You can hear it every day on WTLX.
Exactly, 100.5. Tomorrow night, exclusive interviews with Ron Wolf and who he interviewed to be the new Packers head coach. Thank you so much to everybody who called in tonight. Thank you, Steve, Craig.
Appreciate it, Dave. Anytime.
Have fun tomorrow night at Bonnie Holiday's house. I will be in studio tomorrow night. We are Madison's #1 sports talk.
Love you like that uncle you don't like, Dave.
Feel free. Don't forget to see me on my other show, Touched by My Uncle.
Peace out.
Peace out. That's on every single day. I will see you people next week. Listen, 100.5 every day. I'm not trying to be Madison's #1 talk show host. Never did, never will, never wanted to be. No, you won't see me getting the goofy haircut. You won't catch me with tattoos and an earring. You won't see me doing some crazy stunt or taking a pratfall that could kill a man. Not to be Madison's #1 talk show host. I'm not going to take some pie in the face. What is pie in the face? Hey, Garrett, a pie in the face? Thor!